Hi guys, today I'm going to share how did I run 168 kilometers in Route 68 2019. Route 68 Challenge is an ultra-marathon event in Malaysia near Gombak, Kuala Lumpur. It started in 2015 with only one category, which is 68 kilometers. At that time, I joined as a water station supervisor, and then in 2016 and 2017, I was also a water station crew. After 3 years as a water station crew, in 2018, I decided to join 84 kilometers category. After completed 84 kilometers in 2018, then I decided to run 168 kilometers in 2019. So, how to run 168 kilometers? It's basically run 42 kilometers for 4 times. The first 42 km, the cut-off time is 7 hours. The second 42 km, the cut-off time is 8 hours. The third one, 7 hours. And the last one, 10 hours. The participants of 168 kilometers are allowed to have one support vehicle to support them along the road. Next, let me share with you how did I prepare for this 168 kilometers ultra marathon. To get my body ready for such a long distance training is very important. However, the longest distance I've managed to cover was around 45 kilometers, which I've done in Bukit Kiara Ultra Challenge. So I'm really undertrained for this 168 kilometers. As I mentioned, the participants of 168 kilometers are allowed to have one support vehicle. So I get Milo Yap as a support crew. Milo had completed several ultra marathons before, including 2 times of 200 kilometers. He was also the support crew for Li Jing, the female champion of 168 kilometers in Route 68 Challenge 2018. So these are the food and drinks that I prepared to be used during the race. I don't have a proper diet plan. What I did was I tried to skip coffee, spicy food, tea and alcohol, and I tried to consume more carbohydrate and drink more water a few days before the run. The participants of 168 kilometers and 100 kilometers are allowed to put their items in drop bags. This is a spreadsheet that I use to plan my items to be put in the drop bags. So, with all of the preparation, finally it's a race day. The night before the race day, I tried to get on bed around 9 PM. However, I just couldn't sleep well. Yeah, you know, pre-race anxiety. Anyhow, I still woke up around 2:30, fill up my water bladder, get everything ready, last check my items according to the spreadsheet. Then I just drove to the venue.
So make sure you have all your mandatory items. Your bag, your water belt, your reflective vest, okay? Without any mandatory item, you cannot start the race. 4, 3, 2, 1,
We started in the dark. The weather was chilling. However, this didn't last long. Around 9 AM, the sun was out and it was hot.
Susan, good job.
And we have arrived 42 km checkpoint at around 10 AM. And we stayed around 30 minutes to get ourselves changed, have some food, refill water. It is in afternoon and it is hot, extremely hot. Then my support crew Milo has arrived, and also Tong Lai support crew Keith.
Say hi. 明年唔係跑，
明年啊，跑唔晒咪明年再跑。
你明年要唔要跑？
諗到先，跑咗先。
Go go go！
Then we reached the starting point again, which is the 84 kilometers checkpoint. We took some rest, eat some food, change clothes.
第二个圈 ，Go go go！
Some of you might ask me, is it challenging for mindset if I'm going to do exactly the same route again, which I have done for past 14 hours? I had the same thought last year when I was running 84 kilometers. So when I was preparing for this race, besides physical training, I also had my mind trained. I keep on telling myself, there are no two loops. There is only one loop. By leaving the starting point again, I've completed 50% of the journey. There's only 49.99% left to complete the race. So on the third 42 km, my running partner Tong Lai, his muscle was sore and tired, so he was slowing down. And at the same time, I met a new friend. His name is Hakim. It was his first 168 kilometers. Soon after, we passed the 10 kilometers checkpoint and it started to rain. It was quite heavy. However, we still keep on moving because we need to reach the third 42 kilometers before 3 a.m., which is very tight for us. So even though we are in fatigue, pain, but we still keep on running. Then I was told by Milo that Tong Lai has decided to pull up, so we just went back to the starting point to rest. Hakim and I continued our journey to 126 kilometer checkpoint. We met some 100 kilometers runners and some 168 kilometers coming back towards to the starting line. And we arrived at the checkpoint around 2 a.m. It's around 1 hour before the cut-off time. After 30 minutes of resting, I decided to leave the checkpoint, but Hakim, he wanted to rest longer, so I left alone. After running out from the checkpoint, I felt that my left knee was pain. Then I checked my knee and found out it's swelling. This is first time in my running history. After 7 kilometers from the checkpoint, I met Melo in the next checkpoint. So I showed him my knee and he said it's very normal, especially when you run a distance more than your knee can take it. So I think this is because I'm undertrained. Then he said the swelling will go off maybe probably 1 or 2 weeks of the event. He had this swelling knee also in his first long distance running. Since most of the 100 kilometers runner has been passed by and only few 168 kilometers runners left. On the way back to the finishing line, most of the time I was alone. So I get Milo to stop every 2 kilometers. So at least I know someone is waiting for me, expecting me. Instead of I'm walking or running alone in the dark. After arriving the Bukit Tinggi checkpoint, which is around 10 kilometers from the last checkpoint, and I requested Melo to wait me at the Genting Sabah checkpoint since there's only 7 kilometers from the current checkpoint. Then Melo can catch some rest. However, due to some stupid mistake of me, Melo have to go back to the last checkpoint to get something for me, so he didn't get to rest. So sorry, Melo, so sorry. I arrived at the Genting Sabah checkpoint in the morning. It was around 7. There was still around 60.5 kilometers from the finishing. Melo bought me a burger from McDonald's. Thank you very much. after eating, and then I started my journey again. Then I met my friend Mandarin, which I met from Penang ultramarathon back in 2015. We walked together. However, she just can't make it because of her knee and legs are in terrible pain. So end up Thong Lai and Keith came to pick her back to the starting point. Then I continued my journey alone back to the last 10 kilometers, and I saw Melo there, and I requested him to wait me at the last 5th kilometer. And yeah, so he did. And that's the last stop of him and Keith. Thank you, Keith. Thanks for coming. And at that time, my knee was still swelling and getting serious. However, I still try to run, because when I run, the pain is actually can be minimized. Then finally at around 11 a.m. I arrived at the finishing point.
Position number 9, wrong Cantonese, 6 hours.
I'm happy that I made it. Thanks to Melo, thank you very much. And thanks to Keith and Thong Lai for waiting me back. It's very happy to see all my friends. Congratulations to all finishers. And for those who couldn't make it, train harder and come back stronger next year. At the end, thanks to the organizers of Route 68 Challenge 2019. Thanks to the volunteers, crew, photographers. Alright guys, this is my experience running 168 kilometers in Route 68 Challenge 2019. If you think this video is helpful for a friend who is preparing an ultramarathon, please do share this video to them. And I hope I see you soon. Bye!